When thinking of a remote vacation, I like to factor in a lot of walking to make up for any indulging we might inevitably do. The fact we went on a 13-day cruise before this hike meant we would need to do a lot of walking. When we talked about the Milford Track, I thought, well, I could do that. Perfect follow-up to the cruise. Little did we know this hike would challenge our limits and offer the most amazing views we could imagine. The day before our hike, we all gathered at the Ultimate Hikes office to pick up backpacks and were given a brief rundown on what to expect over the next 5 days. Last chance to back out. After a quick breakfast, we met early the next morning for a bus ride and a boat ride. We had 4 young, energetic guides, Scott, Mia, Alex, and Caitlin. They were amazing, professional, caring, engaging, experienced, energetic, and pretty mature. Afternoon, we walked only about a mile, just a little taste of what was to come. As it was raining lightly, our clothing got a bit wet. Each lodge offered 2 drying rooms, one hotter than the other. We were told not to put our boots in the hotter room as it could melt the glue and ruin them. I did see someone with taped shoes, so I guess they were right. Lodges we stayed in were rustic and rather basic, but they had amazing views. Electricity was provided by generators and worked from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. Calling it summertime is rather a misnomer, as temperatures at bedtime and mornings ran into the 30s and 40s, and the radiators didn't start to work until 7 in the morning. There was barely enough time to warm up the room. Hot to warm evening showers were good, but forget morning showers. Yes, there were plenty of blankets, but a little more heat would be nice. As to food, we were all very impressed with the creativity and quality offered. At dinner, we chose from 3 delicious options, including vegetarian. Like each night, one of the guides did a short presentation and then told us what to expect on the next day's hike. The next day was going to have a cold front pass and there was a possibility of extreme rain. Because of that, we were given a warning there was a chance of major flooding and we may need to be evacuated via helicopter to the next lodge. Really? We were all weighed in the event we needed to be airlifted. Now that was an unexpected development. Luckily, we were advised the next morning the rain was less than expected and we would be continuing the hike as planned, 11 miles. Phew! The first day was pretty rough but gave us a good taste of the terrain. This part of New Zealand is one of the wettest places in the world, being a rainforest, and a few people told us it was best seen during the rain. Didn't sound ideal, but that day it rained lightly all day. And indeed, there were waterfalls everywhere. Just magical. At a few locations we stopped and the guides provided hot coffee. Every now and then we were visited by very friendly birds that seemed to escort us on our journey. They were very curious and sang beautiful songs for us. Usually provided some sort of shelter. started together, but everyone walked at their own pace. Guides were spaced to make sure they kept an eye on all of us. 10 miles of gentle ups and downs, very rocky, and lots of unavoidable puddles as it rained on and off. At the end of that day, our legs were sore, but we felt a sense of accomplishment. Once again, the drying rooms came in handy. Challenge. We padded our shoes with wool to cushion our toes and trimmed our toenails to prepare for the sharp decline. It also helped with any blisters that developed. We started at an altitude of 1,500 feet, gradually went up to 3,500 and sharply down to 800. Terrain was really very rocky. Luckily, we had good hiking shoes and poles. We were told the night before temperatures were going to be low, maybe as low as 19 degrees, and there would be the possibility of snow. Sure enough, we went from light rain to snow to sleet. Amazing. Cold, very difficult, but beautiful. And this is summer. The climb was a cardio workout, 9 miles. Progress was slow and deliberate. Being cold, we had to be aware of slush, ice, and slippery surfaces. Was a workout for our knees. That's where the wool in our shoes helped. It was quite an accomplishment to complete that leg of the hike. again more or less flat, but the few huge downed trees and boulders we had to negotiate reminded us this was still nature at its best. And 13.5 miles felt like a bittersweet end to our journey. Day 5, we packed our lunches as usual and ate breakfast. Then we went on a 1.5-hour boat ride that explored a bit of the fjords. We saw sea lions and more waterfalls while sipping delicious coffee and snapping more pictures. Soon we arrived at the location to board a bus that would shuttle us back to Queenstown, where we started our journey and said goodbye to friends and the guides. We finished sore and exhausted, but with a true sense of accomplishment. Not everyone gets the opportunity to experience such a challenging and beautiful trip. For sure, it will be a memory for a lifetime.